மருந்தில்லை, மாத்திரை இல்லை, சர்க்கரை நோயிலிருந்து முற்றிலும் விடுதலை. சவாலை ஏற்க தயாரா? இந்திய ஊடக வரலாற்றில் முதல் முறையாக சாணக்கியா வழங்கும் பிரம்மாண்ட மெடிக்கல் ரியாலிட்டி ஷோ சர்க்கரை சவால். நீங்களும் கலந்து கொள்ள உடனே 9345355950 என்ற எண்ணுக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப் மெசேஜ் பண்ணுங்க.
Thank you, Rangaji. My colleagues on the dais from Tamil Nadu Media Cell and Vice President Nagarjunji and media friends here. It's an important event. When the budget for this year was presented by Nirmala Sitaraman ji, the Prime Minister said that the budget itself should not be a merely 1 or 2 day event. That a budget is presented in the parliament where lot of effort goes in making the budget, then it is not only discussed in some people in the parliament, some pink papers give it some headlines and then people forget. It should be taken to every nook and corner, because we have done, Prime Minister has done lot of effort in making this budget. It's an Amrit Kal's first budget where he says that this budget will lay the foundation for a strong economic power which we all expect India to be in its 100th year of 2047. So he says, he has been mentioning at every place that this budget is laying the foundation for India to be a very strong economic power. We all expect India to be an economic power, not only India but globally. Many countries have been saying, many institutions have been saying this, that in coming decades India will be an economic power. We all together have to make this a collective will is important, and therefore Prime Minister has said that this budget provision should go to every nook and corner, and therefore a committee at the center was formulated. Same way the state level committees were formulated. Many programs were held at even to the district level involving youth, farmers, women, agriculturists, then entrepreneurs, business community, to talk and discuss with them about the provisions of the budget, get their feedback, because abhi next session will also be there after the recess. If any suggestions come from the people, that can be further taken into consideration, and finally government will decide. So when this broad contour, this kind of program have been held from 2nd of February to current. People are doing everywhere, here also many programs have been done. I will give you a brief outline of what this budget lays the foundation. We all know that we had all faced a big pandemic. COVID was a big pandemic, and it has disrupted not only Indian economy but global economy. Major economies of the world, US, Europe or China, which were catalyzing global growth, had due to pandemic disruption found difficulty, and they at present are in a challenging situation. Their economy is in bad shape. US is facing huge inflation. Europe, all the countries, Russia, UK, Italy, Germany, they are facing energy crisis. China is facing a difficult situation the way it handled the COVID. But economic survey this year said that the Indian economy is an outlier. We all know that India is the fastest growing economy in the world today. We are attracting the highest FDI in the country. Global investment is coming to India. This is because the way post-pandemic measures taken by Prime Minister Modi ji in the form of vaccination, or in the form of Atmanirbhar Bharat package, or in the form of welfare schemes like Pradhan Mantri Anna Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. There are 51 schemes which help people in the time of COVID, and therefore because of Atmanirbhar Bharat, support to the industry, support to the manufacturing sector, support to the business, tourism, healthcare, all these vaccination. Our economy has come in a good way. It is in a robust situation, and this is not being told by us alone. Globally, every institution, World Bank, IMF, even World Economic Forum, all institutions are saying that Indian economy is in a very strong foundation because the way three macroeconomic parameters were held and controlled by the government. It was control of inflation. It's important. America is facing an inflation which it faced 40 years back. It is reeling in that level of inflation. We know Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Turkey, they have all destroyed their economy because of inflation. But Indian inflation is under control. RBI had set a target of 6% of inflation in the GDP. We are below that. We are out of recession. Global economy is facing a challenge of recession. Their economies are not performing as they wanted it to perform. We are out of recession. And third important factor is fiscal deficit, which is called, if in any household term, that whatever you are earning is you are expending more than what you are earning. Our fiscal deficit in this budget also is under the control. So three major economic factors, parameters which drive economy, because of right measure of taken by the government, Modi ji, post-pandemic, and therefore our economy is at present in a very strong footprints of low inflation, out of recession, and budgetary deficit under control, and therefore global economy, global investors are looking for India. On that strong foundation, this budget has come. I will underline 3-4 important parameters that this budget is a forward-looking. We are not going to only rely on what we have accomplished in last 9 years or 10 years. You all know. But we have to move ahead. Our economy has to become very strong, much more robust. We have to rise to the level of Vishwaguru that the Prime Minister is saying. And for that, any leadership, global leadership, if any country want to attain, it has to have a very strong economic power. And therefore, this budget is a forward-looking budget. The Prime Minister in this budget, there are 4 important parameters, only those I will touch. Overview I will like to give you. Details are in the time. This is a digital world. Anybody can just Google any of the word and he will find the detail. But the overall picture I will just bring to you. The government in this budget, to support ease of doing business and ease of living, has increased its infrastructure expenditure by 33%. And the current budget provides for an infrastructure investment for building roads, railways, waterways, airports, rural housing, bridges. These are very important for any economic growth. The government in this budget has increased the capital expenditure on building good infrastructure of connectivity by 33% to 10 lakh crore. And this is very important factor that during pandemic, government earlier had increased the expenditure from 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh crores. And now, in addition to that, in the last budget, we had provided for 7.5 lakh crore of expenditure on capital. Therefore, you see beautiful roads, fast roads, railways, airports, all these things. So, the current budget increases that expenditure by another 33% to 10 lakh crore. Pre-budget, there was lot of suggestions that because government have to spend for the welfare schemes, all the welfare schemes which I underlined some of the schemes, all those welfare schemes which were giving good results for the rural areas, poor sections, lower strata of the population, all have been duly provided. The provision for them has been increased proportionately from the last budget. they have been well provided in the scheme. So people said that if you are going to spend more on infrastructure, more on social welfare scheme, you need to increase taxes. But the second beauty of this budget is there has been no increase in any taxes. People will say levy new tax, put wealth tax, put gift tax, or increase the rate of taxation of personal tax, corporate tax, other taxes. Our government has not increased any of the tax. That is the way the government is saving resources because of our anti-corruption measures, because of leakage-proof measures that the government took in the last 9 years, that without increasing any taxes, and even our government has reduced personal tax exemption limit for individual who is belonging to low income category. We all are belonging to middle income group categories. Anybody having an income of less than 7 lakh crore, there is nil tax payment for him. So personal income tax exemption limit has been increased from 5 lakhs to 7 lakh crore. So that is an important factor. Without increasing any new tax, without increasing any additional tax, increasing any rate, the government has been, because of efficiency in delivery and corruption-free mechanism, targeted delivery, and bringing out good resources through better tax collection, better compliance. Corporate tax has increased by 26%. GST, which has increased to 1,68,000 crores in last month, has been increased, and the government has generated resources for its various welfare schemes in addition to infrastructure schemes. Two examples I would like to give. Corporate tax, which was at one point at time very high, our government successively to increase business development, increase industries, help industries develop, help manufacturing sector, had reduced corporate tax to 25% in the earlier budget. This time, even though the taxes have been reduced by the corporates for the corporate sector, the tax collection has increased by more than 24%. So efficiency in tax collection is another factor. GST, when this GST was introduced, the target was, the committee had suggested that average GST rate, which was earlier 25 to 30%, the committee had said that you reduce it to 15% tax. But currently GST tax rate is 11.6%. So major taxes have been reduced, and in this budget another reduction, big reduction has taken place in the cooperative sector. You know, we live to the remote areas, villages, rural areas. 60% of our population lives in the village areas. And for the development of that village areas, there we have formulated one separate Ministry of Corporation and Ministry of Cooperation, where in this budget the government has reduced the cooperative societies tax to 15%. That's a big support that the government is giving to the rural economy. So taxes have been reduced, the expenditures have been increased, and the economy's macroeconomic parameters have been well in control, and therefore our economy is in a sound foundation, and the Prime Minister expects that by next 1 or 2 decades, at present we are the 5th largest economy. Within this decade, 5 years, some people say, or 5 or between 10 years, we will be the 3rd largest economy of the world. In 2014, when we came to power, our economy was in the fragile 5, bottom 5. From that, it has come to the top 5th largest economy in the world, and in terms of GDP, and within this decade, we will reach to a level of a 3rd largest economy. This is the beauty of the economic development. The third factor that the budget is looking after is about the tourism. Tourism is an important factor. Prime Minister says that economy or the national development will take place where we have strong potential. So we live to different areas. You are living in Tamil Nadu. We see how food habits, festivals, music, dance, architecture. These are important areas where India has a strong potential. The Prime Minister in this budget has focused that we have identified 50 tourist destinations which can propel India's cultural economy to a great extent, because India's leadership globally is art, music, culture, festival, food, architecture. And if we showcase them to the world, how much tourism it will develop, how much growth it will bring to the India's economy. Therefore, 50 destinations have been identified with strong potential for tourism. The whole expenditure on development of this 50 institution will be done by the central government. And in this 50 destination, the Prime Minister has also aligned an important event that India is taking leadership under the G20. The Prime Minister said that in this year, around 1 lakh influential people across the globe will come to India from almost 29 important countries and 20 important institutions like United Nations, World Bank, IMF. They will come to India under the G20 initiative, presidentship of India within this year. They are influencer in their countries. They will visit 56 centers. Different G20 summits will be held in 56 different centers, cities on all the states, and aligning them with the 50 destinations that the central government will develop and showcase the Indian cultural economy potential to these 1 lakh people. They will go back and they will be the ambassador of India's cultural economy and how economy can progress. So the tourism is the third focus that the government has said. Along with this opportunity of G20 creating best destination of infrastructure in tourism, it will generate employment, etc., is an important area. The fourth aspect that I would like to underline is about the future looking aspect of this budget. It is a future oriented budget. The Prime Minister has said that India has strong potential. We have seen how IT industry had propelled the growth of India in the past some of the years. We have good technological inputs on the engineering side, software side, hardware side, chip manufacturing, automobile industries development, etc. So, this issue of technological development is another area where India can propel its growth, and he calls it a knowledge economy initiative. India is best suited because of educational institutions, civilizational issues, etc., to lead the world on the knowledge economy side, and therefore huge investment has been created in this budget provision for developing knowledge economy. 5G is an important initiative that India is taking for the first time globally. India is the leader in 5G technology. 100 labs will be set up for developing 5G technology. The centers of excellence will be funded. Universities are being improved through the National Education Policy, NEP, and in that artificial intelligence, etc., will be developed. So green energy is an initiative, hydrogen energy. India has a lot of dependence on import of crude oil. Lot of our foreign currency moves out of India because of our import requirement of crude oil. So in this budget, there is a green energy shift, transition, where new solar energy initiative has been provided for. Green hydrogen energy is being provided for. Renewable energy is being looked into. So environmental friendly and the foreign exchange saving energy transition is also being planned. So there are immense areas where the government has worked. Technology, knowledge economy, cultural economy, agriculture sector, huge provision has been made for the agriculture sector, even for employment generation. The Prime Minister has said that we will train, give credit and marketing support to the handicraft artisans people. across the country, where to develop one district, one product, where handicrafts have a good potential for India. So artisans, small artisans, they will be skilled, and there is an initiative on that. So and lastly, cooperative sector is a big mover of economic growth. So these are certain areas that I wanted to point out to you, that the Prime Minister's vision is that if India has to lead the world, take the leadership of the global community, it has to become an economic superpower. For economic superpower, our macroeconomic fundamentals are very strong in this 75th year of our independence. 25 years is the golden period, Amrit Kal, where if we collectively work for the betterment of the common man, betterment of the economic growth, betterment of manufacturing, MSME sector, there are huge provisions. I cannot go into those details, but MSME sector support has been given, a lot of support, resolution, ease of doing business, everything. Compliances, 39,000 compliances have been reduced for small businesses, decriminalization of laws. So these are many factors which the Prime Minister's vision is there. He has been requesting that no one person can achieve the goal. It has to be collective will of the alignment of the state government to work toward the betterment of the country. And we also have been requesting that some of the states where our government is not there, state government is ruled by another different political outfits, there many of the schemes which are beneficial to the people, which have done immense change in the life of the common man, poor man, their schemes are being hindered at some places by the state government. They are not providing good data, so the transmission of fund transfer does not take place to the smoothly to the targeted person. The level of corruption which has been removed from the center schemes, center's delivery mechanism, some of the states, particularly we have seen that where even I have been told that in the Tamil Nadu also, some of the schemes which are very nicely accepted by the people are not reaching to the common man because of certain problems at the state government not cooperating. So if the collectively will of the state government and the central government and the people work towards it, so in this next 1 or 2 decades, I think India will be what the vision of our Prime Minister is, to make India a strong economic power. This is the foundation that this budget lays down.
Can you ask any questions?
Yeah. On the budget, you can ask any questions. Central budget. Anybody has any questions? He can ask if they have any doubt or anything.
Budget பத்தி எதனா சந்தேகம் இருக்கா?
Last day before CM says central government giving low budget to Tamil Nadu. So
The thing is that it is the Finance Commission which decides what will be delegated to the states. According to that Finance Commission report, 15th Finance Commission report, every state have been given a criteria for devolution of central budget resources, revenue which the central government collects, and it is around 42% of the central government's revenue which is devolved to the states. We have done a full devolution for that. In addition to that, there are direct schemes like Pradhan Mantri Anna Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, where scheme based support is given from the central government. That also is in addition to what the revenue is devolved to the state government. And third, under the GST, some states have been wrongly saying that the GST money has not been transferred. Finance Minister has clearly said on the floor of the Parliament that no this pending GST devolution is pending at the center.
Sir, time and again we could see that Subramania Swamy, senior leader of BJP, time and again he refers to the defense budget. Allocation of defense budget is very low in the time where China is aggressing in the war. So what do you comment on that?
I'll not comment on any individual question. If you have, but I'll answer your question. our 90% of defense procurement earlier, when we came into the power in 2014, 90% of our defense requirement, all the three forces, was being imported. We had set last year a target that 60% of our defense requirement we will procure from Indian domestic producers. We have built 2 defense corridors where the defense requirements are being given to the MSME sector, manufacturing sector, and they are encouraged that tie up with the armed forces and produce their products will be purchased. The target was 60, from 90% of import to 60% from domestic procurement was the target, and this we have crossed already. I am giving you a figure, you can anytime check it. We have crossed 68% of defense procurement domestically. That's very important. Tejas is the first plane domestically developed by HAL. 6 countries have shown their interest in buying Tejas. NASA is the satellite. India is a leader in satellite launching. Global countries are approaching our ISRO, not NASA, ISRO, to launch their satellite. So commercial launch of satellite, manufacturing of Tejas fighter aircraft, domestic procurement of defense, and there is no reduction in the requirement. Any amount, whatever is required for the defense forces, government is committed, they will give.
So the main figures in Tamil Nadu, we are eagerly waiting for the construction of AIMS in Madurai. But
Construction of
Aims.
AIMS. Okay, health.
AIMS in Madurai, but the allocation of the amount is very low, particularly in
They are wrong.
Compared to the other state.
compared to the other states.
Particularly, I don't know about the AIMS in Madurai, you know.
See, தொடர்ந்து எய்ம்ஸ் பற்றி ஒரு தவறான பிரச்சாரத்தை தமிழக அரசியல்வாதிகள், குறிப்பாக தமிழக ஆளும் திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகம் பரப்பி வருகிறது. எய்ம்ஸை பொறுத்தவரையில் இந்த அரசாங்கம் அறிவித்து கிட்டத்தட்ட 1.5 வருடங்கள் எந்த இடத்துல எய்ம்ஸ் வரப்போகிறது என்று நிலம் ஒதுக்கப்படவில்லை. அதன் பிறகு கொரோனா வந்துவிட்டது. கொரோனா வந்த பிறகு ஜிகா, அதாவது ஜப்பானிய நிறுவனம், அது எய்ம்ஸ் கட்டுவதற்கான முழு தொகையையும் அது கொடுப்பதாக ஒத்துக்கொண்டுள்ளது. அதுதான் ஒப்பந்தமே. இப்பொழுது அந்த நிறுவனம் தன்னுடைய இயலாமையை அல்லது நாங்கள் மெதுவாக, அதாவது ஒரு காலதாமதத்தோடு அதை செய்கிற காரணத்தினால தான் மத்திய அரசுக்கு உண்டான அந்த நிதி, அந்த பங்கீடு என்பது அந்த நிறுவனம் கொடுக்கும் பொழுது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக வரும். இதுதான் விஷயம். இது எல்லாம் தெரிந்தும் வேண்டும் என்றே தெரியாதது போன்று நடிப்பது என்பது கண்டிக்கத்தக்கது. ஒரு மாநிலத்தினுடைய வளர்ச்சி என்பது 11 மருத்துவக் கல்லூரிகளை கட்டி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. 11 மருத்துவக் கல்லூரி வந்திருக்கு. பிஜேபி அரசாங்கம் வந்த பிறகு நரேந்திர மோடி அவர்கள் தலைமையில் 3500 மெடிக்கல் சீட் வந்திருக்கு. வேறு எந்த மாநிலத்திற்கும் அது போகலை. இந்த மாதிரி சூழ்நிலையில் இதில் அரசியல் செய்வது, திடீர்னு செங்கல்ல தூக்கிட்டு போகிறது, நாங்கள் கம்ப்ளைண்ட்லாம் கூட கொடுத்துருக்குறோம். அதுக்கு இப்படி ஒரு அரசியல் செய்வது என்பது தவறான விஷயம். ஆனால் பிரதமரை பார்க்க போகும்போது அந்த செங்கல் அவர் எடுத்துகிட்டு போகல. இதெல்லாம் என்ன காரணம்னா, இது அரசியல் ஆக்குவது என்பதற்காகத்தான். அதனால் எய்ம்ஸ் பொறுத்தவரையிலும் தன்னுடைய பணியினை மத்திய அரசு துவங்கி விட்டது. ஏனென்றால் மத்திய அரசினுடைய எய்ம்ஸ் மருத்துவக் கல்லூரி உங்கள் எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும் நடந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறது. அப்போ எய்ம்ஸ் இன்னும் துவங்கலன்னு அவங்க சொல்கிறதே தப்பு. அதுதான்
இடையில இந்த கொரோனா பீரியட் வேற 3 வருஷம் எந்த கான்ட்ராக்ட் எந்த வேலையும் எங்கேயுமே நடக்கல. அது இந்தியா முழுவதும், பர்டிகுலர் தமிழ்நாடு, அதுவும் அந்த கேப்ல தான் இருக்கு. உங்க சொல்ற 4 வருஷத்துல அதையும் புரிஞ்சுக்க மாட்டேன்.
So now we will today's press conference is focused on the central budget. है ना? We will focus on that. Any questions on the central budget that you have? So है ना? हाँ.
Cylinder increase. LPG cylinder.
Domestic cylinder rate increasing yesterday.
Why is
No,
that the LPG cylinder rate is increasing?
No, the thing is, I'll tell you one, the petrol and diesel major our depend. I told you the green initiative that the government is taking.
LPG is already including GST, sir.
Yeah, already the central government has subsidized at many times. Earlier, the subsidy was less. The government has increased the subsidy. Even the number of cylinders which were being provided at the subsidized price has been increased. The burner was also given on free to the people. The government has successively increased the subsidy on the fuel and other places. During the pandemic, global crude oil had increased so much. We are importing gas, even importing crude oil, the diesel, petrol. At that point of time, 36 rupees was the loss per liter of diesel which was being sold. So the government has been taking a big hit. Therefore, we are going to an alternate energy mechanism so that our dependence upon crude oil import is reduced. Though it's a problem, but the government is expecting that in the coming year when the crude oil, two important issues were there, just I would underline here is, there was a global pressure that we should not import crude oil from Russia or Ukraine. But in spite of global pressure, in the national interest, the Prime Minister decided that we will go ahead and procure from Russia, and we did that. Even the pressure of US and other countries was withheld, and the government went out with this. So ultimately, there is one thing that you go for a long-term solution. The government is taking care at the both ends.
So you say that the Russian-Ukraine war is a reason for the price hike in cylinders?
Global crude oil. Increase in the global crude oil price, Russia-Ukraine war is a major factor, and in this increase was the reason, and therefore we went for this.
So you're talking about the alternate energy, but mass people are using, highly dependent upon the cylinder.
LPG.
So LPG already government is doing, it has subsidized.
It's a burden for people because
We understand. Therefore, different issue. There are several. You cannot see the social welfare scheme in isolation. You have to see majority. If you see Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, in this budget, the increase in the number of houses has been done to 3.5 crores. The water is a big problem. In Tamil Nadu, I was told that water is a big problem. In 2019, second time when we came to power, only 2.5 crore households were getting water through tap. The Prime Minister said that by 2024, all the 19 crore houses we will be able to provide water through tap. And in these 3 years, more than total number is around 8.5 crore. So in last 60 years, 2.5 crore houses got water through tap. In 3 years, more than 6 crore households were given tap water. So you have to see the 360-degree initiative that the government is taking for.